When I was sick and broke, my daughter vanished without a word. Years later, she returned after hearing I was rich, but what I discovered hidden under her mattress broke my heart all over again. I was never the kind of man who expected much from life. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, raised by a single mother who worked 2 jobs and still found time to make dinner every night. I learned early that nothing came easy, and if you wanted something, you had to earn it. That's how I lived most of my life. Quiet, hardworking, never asking for more than I needed. I married young, too young probably, and had a daughter, Emily, when I was 23. Her mother left before Emily turned 5. Said she wasn't cut out for the whole family thing. I didn't blame her. I just focused on raising my girl the best I could. Emily was everything to me. I worked construction during the day and drove trucks at night. I missed sleep, missed meals, missed birthdays sometimes, but I never missed a payment, never missed a chance to tell her I loved her. She was smart, funny, had this way of looking at the world that made me feel like maybe I hadn't screwed everything up. I didn't have much, but I gave her everything I could. Paid for her braces, her summer camps, her college fund. I didn't go to college myself, but I wanted her to have that shot. When she turned 18, she got into a school in California. I was proud, scared, but mostly proud. I helped her move into her dorm, gave her a hug, and told her to call me whenever she needed anything. She did at first. Called every week, sent pictures, told me about her classes. Then the calls got less frequent. She started dating some guy, got busy with internships, friends, life. I understood. Kids grow up. They move on. That's how it's supposed to be. But then I got sick. It started with fatigue, then pain in my joints, then the diagnosis, rheumatoid arthritis, aggressive. I couldn't work anymore. My hands stopped cooperating, my knees gave out. I had to sell the house, move into a small apartment in Dayton. I called Emily, told her what was happening. She said she was sorry, said she'd try to visit when she could. She didn't. Months went by. I left voicemails, sent texts. Nothing. I didn't want to guilt her, didn't want to beg. I just wanted to hear her voice. I ended up in the hospital twice that year. Once for a fall, once for complications with the meds. No one came. No one called. I remember lying in that hospital bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I'd done something wrong. Maybe I'd pushed her too hard, maybe I'd made her feel like she owed me something. I didn't know. I just knew I was alone. Then something strange happened. A friend from my old crew called me up, said he'd heard about a land deal going south in Kentucky. I didn't know why he was telling me. I didn't have money, didn't have connections. But he said the land was cheap, and the company that owned it was desperate to sell. I don't know what made me do it, but I took what little savings I had left, borrowed against my truck, and bought the land. Turns out, the company was sitting on a gold mine, literally. They'd done preliminary surveys, found traces of lithium, but hadn't followed through. I hired a lawyer, got the rights sorted, and within 6 months, I had offers from 3 different mining firms. I sold the rights for more money than I'd ever seen in my life. I was suddenly, inexplicably, rich. I didn't tell anyone. Not at first. I moved into a better apartment, hired a nurse to help with my condition, started investing. I kept things quiet, kept things simple. I didn't want to change who I was. I just wanted to live with a little less pain. Then Emily called. It had been almost 2 years since I'd heard her voice. She sounded cheerful, almost rehearsed. Said she'd been thinking about me, wanted to reconnect. Asked how I was doing, if I needed anything. I told her I was fine. She said she'd love to visit. I said okay. She flew in the next week. Brought flowers, hugged me like nothing had happened. Said she missed me, said she was sorry for being distant. I wanted to believe her. I really did. We spent the weekend together, talked about old times, looked at photo albums. She asked about my health, about my finances. I told her I was managing. She smiled, said she was glad. Then she asked if I could help her with something. Said she was trying to start a business, needed some seed money. Said she'd pay me back. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I just looked at her and asked why she hadn't come when I was sick, when I was calling, when I was alone. She said she was busy, said she didn't know how bad it was. I didn't argue. I just nodded. She left the next day. Sent a few texts after that, tried to keep in touch. I didn't respond. I didn't know what to say. I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I was just tired. Tired of hoping, tired of guessing, tired of wondering if love was supposed to be this conditional. I didn't give her the money. Not then. Not ever. But that wasn't the end of it. She kept trying. Over the next few months, Emily sent emails, texts, even a handwritten letter. She said she regretted how things had gone, that she wanted to rebuild our relationship. She mentioned the business again. Some kind of wellness startup with her boyfriend. Said they had a plan, just needed a little help to get off the ground. I read the messages, but I didn't reply. I wasn't trying to punish her. I just didn't trust her anymore. Not with my money, not with my time, not with my heart. I started thinking about all the years I'd spent working double shifts, all the nights I'd come home too tired to eat, all the birthdays I'd missed just to make sure she had what she needed. I remembered the way she used to run into my arms when I picked her up from school, the way she cried when she scraped her knee, the way she looked at me like I was the safest place in the world. And I wondered when that changed. When I stopped being her father and started being a potential investor. One day, I got a call from her boyfriend. His name was Tyler. I'd never met him. He introduced himself politely, said he understood I had concerns, but wanted to assure me that the business was legitimate. He talked about market trends, growth projections, brand strategy. I listened for a while, then asked him if he knew how many nights I'd spent in the hospital without a single visitor. He paused, then said he was sorry. I hung up. After that, things got quiet. Emily stopped reaching out. I didn't hear from her for almost a year. During that time, I focused on my health, my investments, my peace. I hired a financial advisor, bought a small cabin in Tennessee where the air was cleaner and the winters were softer. I read books, watched birds, learned how to cook. I didn't feel rich. I felt stable. And that was enough. Then out of nowhere she showed up at my door. It was a rainy afternoon. I was making tea when I heard the knock. I opened the door and there she was, soaked, shivering, holding a suitcase. She said she'd broken up with Tyler, said the business had failed, said she didn't know where else to go. I let her in. Gave her a towel, made her tea, sat her down. She cried. Told me she was sorry. Told me she'd been selfish, blind, scared. I listened. I didn't say much. Just let her talk. She stayed for a few days. Helped around the cabin, cooked meals, asked questions about my life. Felt nice, in a way. Familiar. But I kept my guard up. I didn't want to get pulled back into something that would hurt again. On the third night, she asked if she could stay longer. Said she wanted to start fresh, maybe find a job nearby. I told her she could stay as long as she needed, but I wouldn't be giving her money. She nodded. Said she understood. Weeks passed. She got a job at a local diner, started saving. We talked more, laughed sometimes, even argued like we used to. I saw glimpses of the girl I'd raised, the one who used to sing in the car and dance in the kitchen. I wanted to believe she was back for the right reasons. I wanted to believe people could change. But then I found the notebook. It was tucked under her mattress. I wasn't snooping, I was changing the sheets while she was at work. Inside were notes, plans, sketches for a new business. There were budget estimates, target demographics, branding ideas. And at the top of one page, in bold letters, it said, Dad's investment, $250K. I sat down. Read every page. She hadn't asked me yet, but it was clear she was going to. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. And I realized that no matter how much I wanted to believe in her, no matter how much I missed her, I couldn't ignore the pattern. She came back when she needed something. She stayed when she thought she could get it. And she planned for it without even asking. That night I confronted her. I showed her the notebook. She didn't deny it. Just looked down and said she was sorry. Said she thought maybe if she proved herself, I'd offer to help. I asked her if she would have come back if I'd still been broke. She didn't answer. I told her she had to leave. She cried, begged, said she'd change. I said I hoped she would. I said I loved her. I said I always would. But I couldn't be her safety net anymore. Not like this. Not when love felt like a transaction. She packed her things and left the next morning. I watched her drive away, unsure if I'd ever see her again. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel relieved. I just felt empty. It's been 3 years since then. I haven't heard from her. I still think about her every day. I still wonder if I did the right thing. People tell me I should have given her another chance. That family is everything. But I've learned that love without respect isn't love at all. And sometimes, the hardest thing a parent can do is let go. I hope she's okay. I hope she finds her way. I hope one day she comes back, not for money, not for help, but just to sit with me on the porch and talk about nothing. That would be enough. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this.